Okay, take nine, full disclosure, and don't feel bad about that because at least seven of those takes only lasted a few seconds each. But what I want to do is tell you in 10 minutes or less what took me 25 in take one, because this is really what I intend to talk about. And so I just feel like it shouldn't take 25 minutes to get through all of this. I want to talk about Blue Zone Hockey, the 1924-25 NHL season that figures into this unboxing of sorts, unsleeving, as well as Status Pro Hockey for that same season. Although, I mean, it is sort of explained there in little notes that I also made to remind myself what I wanted to talk about, that being that I plan on using Status Pro for the game of the week and then also playoffs. I've alluded to that in other videos, but I just wanted to reiterate. So I'm not removing Status Pro from this season. I'm just bringing in a faster playing game to kind of usher it along since, well, for reasons actually that I'll get into when I look at the team cards as well. It was just a different era and slower in some ways. And so I think that, yeah, faster playing game, just to get through the season in a more reasonable amount of time. I think that that would be a good thing. Uh, DoC Hockey as well. I got another set of DoC Hockey cards, and I'll say up front as well, the sort of the creator, the carrier, the creator in chief, the guru of this game has requested that I do not share these, so please do not ask for these. I do want to respect his wishes on that. Setup grade as well. This is I'll also use the quotation marks for it because it's really, I mean, this is decidedly low tech, lo-fi, and so you'll see what I mean here in a moment or in a few minutes. If I get through this quickly enough. New to Hockey Unreal game, that's what that means. And so it's a game that's, it's a game that I already have, but I have not yet played on this channel. And that will be coming up soon. Tonight I intend to teach myself the game because though I've looked at the instructions for it, and I'm pretty sure I've read them first word to last, I still really have to learn it. And shootout rollout I've done, that's what I did that led to me playing the 72 Summit series. So I'm going to take a couple of projects, a couple of mini projects, the Tournament of Champions / Presidents for the League of Champions and Presidents. That will be like a 0 to 49 roll. And then the Tony, the Teams of New York series will be 50 to 99. And in accordance to a viewer request from a while ago. And and should it come up for the League of Champions and Presidents, I'll do another roll whereby 0 to 49 will be the Tournament of Champions, and then 50 to 99 will be the Tournament of Presidents. But back to Blue Zone Hockey. Yeah, back to Blue Zone Hockey and the 1924-25 NHL season. There's some 9-take syndrome coming to play. So these were the team cards originally, and they were 6 per page. And these are user-generated, player, contributed cards for this game. So what I've done is made my own cards with Google Sheets, my own team cards for the 1924-25 NHL season. Feel free to send an email to hockeyunreal@gmail.com if you would like to see them. And no, they are not in black and white. This was just a test page before I went ahead and paid for color prints on thicker paper. So the teams actually look like this if you want to look for comparison. This is Boston Bruins. This is what you get when you download that early bundle of teams from 1910 to 1927. And I've made it bigger, obviously. I've also taken away some of the information, the goals and assists. Players have very few assists then, so pretty much the number of points that a player has, which I did leave in. If you want to know how many goals they scored, it's close to the number of points that they got for the most part, and that's true even with a lot of the defensemen. So, but actually, yeah, might as well. And the Bruins is actually the biggest card. These are all different sizes. And I'm aware that with a couple of teams like Hamilton and Montreal, I probably could have printed them out on one piece of paper, or one sheet of paper. But with, sorry, and I paused there because I just realized certain things that I was holding up, you can't see them on camera nearly as well as I can, obviously, just looking at them right in front of me. But for some reason with Google Sheets, when you try to combine two, like to print on it to a single page, it just I don't know, it changes the font sizes and everything, or at least how I was doing it. And so I figured it didn't cost too much more just to splurge a little and get individual color prints of every page. Again, if it's something that I want to feature on the channel here in the near future, I want it to look nice. And so made another little investment like that I'll get into here shortly. And I have mixed feelings about that one too, but that other one that's over there. So yeah, the Boston Bruins. I was going to talk a little more about the 1924-25 NHL season, but that's what ended up. That's a big part, really, of why take one is 25 minutes long. So I might actually forego that. I'll just try to mention quickly what this looks like. And again, hockeyunreal@gmail.com if you would like these. These are because these are player contributor generated. I really don't see any problem at all in me duplicating these cards and offering them for free because they're available free on offer anyway. I mean, for all I know, I might even, who knows, I might even put them up on sportsreplays.net. I've never done anything like that, so I'm not quite sure how it's done. And this is just one season. What you get on sportsreplays.net and or on tabletopsports.com, the download forum is it's like a bundle of 17 seasons and not just the NHL. This is just the NHL for just the one season. Anyway, with that said, I have the goals for and against that you would use for the pregame calculations. I have those in different colors, and home is over here and away is there. And so if you're matching the teams together, if you put visitor here and home here, then home kind of lines up with visitor, and so you should be able to look and make a quick pregame calculation. And also too, numbers. I have some numbers in bold and some are not. The ones in bold are ones that you're going to use either just before playing the game and or during the game. And I should be careful about that because I've not actually yet played the game, but just based on, again, I've looked at the rules and everything. And so yeah, I don't think I don't think that needs to be in bold, the penalty rating, but these numbers that you use a little more often, like this is just statistical information, and so these numbers you use more often just for practicality's sake. I wanted to make them hopefully a little easier to see, and then if you're keeping stats and you want the players' names, they're right here. Positions were a little more arbitrary then, so I totally understand the FD, DF, forward, defense, and so on. In the case of a player for the Ottawa Senators, defense/goaltender. And some interesting names here. I guess I'll try to go through some of these really quickly, but like Heck Fowler. I mean, Boston, all three of their goalies. DoC Stewart, that's actually Charles Stewart. Heck Fowler, right? Give him Heck. And my favorite, Holes Lockhart. That has to be one of my all-time favorite names for a goaltender in NHL history. Holes. There was a goaltender named Holes, a goalie who had, I don't know, holes in his gear, holes in his game, both. He was their number 3 goaltender. His numbers are awful. That I just realized now, and I hope there aren't too many mistakes in this. This is not a mistake. Google will do things like this automatically. So I tried to enter a 5.50. It came out 5.5. Blame Google Sheets and not me. But yeah, like Smokey Harris, that's a fun name. Boston doesn't have as many. Alf Skinner. Actually, here at the bottom, Spunk Sparrow. How could I overlook that? There was a Spunk Sparrow in the NHL 95 years ago. So that's Boston and the Hamilton Tigers. The Hamilton Tigers, who finished first overall in the NHL that season, but just by a hair, actually the top 4 teams. And I realized this as I was compiling all this information and really just, taking it from here and putting it here, forced me to go through players and teams and numbers individually. And I realized that the top 4 teams in this season were really neck and neck. And then those 2 expansion teams were really just punching bags on ice with terrible records. But Hamilton finished with 39 points, but the top 4 teams finished, and this isn't a 30-game season, they finished with 39, 38, 36, and 35 points, respectively. So there you have it, though. The Hamilton Tigers, the main reason why, it is the main reason why I wanted to replay this season. They finished first overall, but then went on strike and did not play in the playoffs. That has what if written all over it. And the Montreal Canadiens, of course, my Montreal Canadiens, they finished third, but again, 3 points behind Hamilton. There was a Lafleur playing in Montreal even then. Rene, no relation to Guy, I'm quite sure. Just looking to see if I missed any funny names here. Of course, Red Green and Shorty Green. And then, Montreal's players. Punch Broadbent, somewhat appropriately, did actually, he had 75 penalty minutes in 30 games. That leads their team by a mile. So, probably appropriately named was Punch Broadbent. And a few interesting names here, right? Dutch Kane. Alf Skinner there again. And Reg Noble, who played for a couple of different teams and then also played in a Western Professional Hockey League. Can't remember the acronym. There were a few of them through the early mid-20s. Actually, to tie this back into status pro for a moment, I have the Victoria Cougars, the 1925 Stanley Cup champions. So definitely once I get to the postseason, as it says there, playoffs. This Status Pro will feature into this season replay a lot more. And then certainly when I get to the, I don't know if you want to call it the postseason, once the NHL champion is determined, I will match them up against the Victoria Cougars in a playoff series. I'll double check to see if it was best of 5 or best of 7. I think it might have been best of 5. But anyway, just to see who is the true Stanley Cup champion, at least in my replay of 1925, to see whether or not the Cougars can actually beat the best team in the NHL again. So for the Ottawa Senators, you have King Clancy, who played actually both backup goaltender and defense. And check this out. 1 game played, 2 minutes in that game. He didn't surrender any goals during that time. He was technically perfect between the pipes. But, I just thought stuff like that's interesting. And they have a collection of characters here. And I like with Ottawa, too, their offense was driven from their defense. Again, a very different era because 3 of their top 6 scorers there were defensemen. Though, again, if you look, I know it was only a 30-game season, but look at how the bulk of the offense is really driven from one player. It was just very different then. You basically had an offensive line and a defensive line. And I realize now that I'm over 10 minutes, so this won't be 10 minutes or less, but here we go. I'll try to sing less than I didn't sing in the other one. Anyway, so yeah, interesting names. Buck Boucher, Hooley Smith, I've mentioned him before. Spiff Campbell. Right, Spiff Campbell, and this is just fun. This is fun, I think. Anyway, it's fun stuff. Over to the Toronto St. Pats, and they were second out of 6. They finished just 1 point behind the Hamilton Tigers. And you have, sorry, I should try to angle it like this. Maybe give this a little added focus as well. Now I think of that. You have Babe Dye. You actually have Cecil Henry Babe Dye. So there was another Henry Babe in professional sports in the 1920s who figured pretty prominently into things. I think 44 points actually was first overall in the scoring race that season for points. And I think 38 of those were goals. Again, number of goals, it's just close to the number of points for most of these guys. But here you have Toots Holloway. How could I overlook Happy Day, though? Jack Adams of Jack Adams Award fame. And actually, you have that with the Montreal Canadiens as well, with George Vezina being their goaltender. The Vezina Trophy, George Vezina. So you have Hap Day here. His nickname was Happy. It's Happy Day. It's Happy Day on these cards, and so I thought I'd just keep it the same here. Hap Day, Happy Day. Toots Holloway again. Shrimp Andrews. Alvin Fisher, so you have a Shrimp Fisher there, and Chris Speyer, just some fun names. And again, these are uncut, the cards, how they appeared originally, so you can see these, even the teams that have fewer players, it's quite a bit bigger if you look individually to the team cards that I've made. But these will be a little smaller. I don't intend to leave them uncut. I intend to cut them out, and they will be different sizes. But again, when I tried to combine them onto one sheet of paper, which with Boston would have been difficult to do anyway, given their size, it played with certain settings for whatever reason, and so I just decided to go one team to a page. So let's see, I've talked about Blue Zone, I've talked about Status Pro. DoC Hockey, yes, the 1962-63 Western Hockey League. And again, I just thought I'd give a quick look, give anyone who might be interested in seeing them a quick look at these. If I had to award a title of most underrated hockey game to a hockey game, it would be Deck of Cards Hockey. I think, I don't know, some people, hockey fans do little to nothing, if not complain sometimes, and I'm guilty of that as well. But some people see this and they think it isn't hockey, and to those people, I'd say, well, get it to the table and play 5 or 10 games and then report back to me on that. The game flows really well. And I really liked it for a quick playing game. There's a lot of interaction up and down the roster as well. So it's a fantastic game. It's a fast playing game and really straightforward. And so I'm really looking forward to playing this. This Western Hockey League, you have to remember with these semi-pro leagues in the early to mid 60s, a lot of these leagues had a number of players that were either in the NHL on their way back to the NHL. So a lot of like NHL caliber or near NHL caliber, once the league expanded to 12 teams, play that you have here. This was hockey in a very high level in that era, even though it wasn't NHL. And I will be doing a one-off. I don't actually have this, on this little whiteboard here, but I will be doing at least a one-off game with one of these teams sooner than later on this channel. And I have, without letting the cat out of the bag, I have a personal reason for doing it, and it's something that I am incredibly interested in doing and eager to do. Whether or not anyone else actually shares that interest, it'd be icing on the cake if anyone else does. But So it's something that I'm very much looking forward to doing, and then probably in the not too distant future, maybe doing a bit of a longer project with this season and set of teams as well. So I guess that brings us to the set upgrade, which is simply this. And yes, I paid $12,600 for these. Cards are really expensive in Korea. But of course, 12,600 won is about, I don't know, I mean, exchange rates fluctuate, but anywhere, say, 11 to $13 Canadian, not a whole lot. Maybe a bit pricey. I think cards here are a bit pricey. Certainly playing cards are. Can't remember what I paid for these, but I think it was still a lot. Actually, maybe I didn't get these here. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. So this actually, I bought these without even looking at what the Uno cards look like these days. I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed when I saw these. I don't know if I like these light numbers surrounded by color. To be honest, these cards just look a little more lazily done. I don't get it. I'm not quite sure why they changed them. I like the older, like the color graphic number in the center of the card, and then the white background, and then over in the corners you had the color numbers again, the numbers in color again. So but this is what the cards look like now. The other ones, I use them with clients and for all kinds of different things. And so those are older, kind of, some of those cards are a little bent up. The corners are bent. And also too, I'll frequently use marker on the job in addition to using the cards. And so a lot of them have little pieces of marker on them that you can see. And to take some of the little bits off, you'd end up just scratching the cards. So I'll try to keep these ones relatively fresh looking. And I don't know. I mean, if I end up not liking them, then maybe I'll go back to the old ones, even though, again, they are a bit older looking. But apparently I can't buy the old ones now unless maybe if I play the eBay game or something. So this here, I think I mentioned earlier, and again, I've done 9 takes of this, and this is already almost 20 minutes as well, but I think I'm pacing this one a little better. New to Hockey on Real Games, so that's really what I have to do next. I have to go and learn this game tonight so that I can play it tomorrow, and where I haven't learned it, I guess I'm just going to make it up. No, again, this is a game that's actually not too well known to too many other people, so I probably could get away with doing that. But we all have our own little nuanced ways of playing the hockey games that we enjoy, of course. So, yeah. So, and then the shootout rollout again. But this, I've already made a shootout rollout. I don't know why I call it the rollout. I was just trying to think of a name for it. Basically, it's going to be a single roll of a dice that will determine my next project. And who knows? Wayne Gretzky, one way or another, could be making his debut on this channel pretty soon as well, particularly if his 84 Oilers end up prevailing when I do the roll. So we'll see. It'll be the classic shootout great teams of the past projects up against some more current shootout hockey and those teams of New York. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, anytime, any consideration that you give to anything like this, I will try to keep this to under 20 at least, if not 10, and maybe I'll have to play them both back and see which one I prefer. Anyway, as I started to say there about the consideration and the time, it's never expected, but it's always appreciated. Really, it is. And hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. This is what I do for fun, more often than not on a Saturday night over here, especially given the state of the world, and so far this decade. So I was a pretty big homebody before that as well. I'm a married domestic cat. But anyway, enough of out of me. That's definitely more than enough out of me for the time being. So how's that for an awkward ending? Bye for now.